Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
Hump Day edition of the JP Peterson Show. Along with Peter Blake, I am your host, JP Peterson. Thus, the show is named after myself. Yeah. Oh, I'm feeling funky because, and we are very, very transparent here at the JP Peterson Show, Peter Blake. As you know, we don't hold anything back from our viewers and our esteemed listeners at all. So we will cop to the fact that we are taping this show on Tuesday night, and we will not be discussing the very interesting Las Vegas Knights Bolts game because it hadn't happened yet, or the USF UCF game, which actually will be going on during the taping of the show. So we will be able to comment a little bit on that. Coach Z, David Zimrot's going to join us as we look ahead to the NCAA tournament, talk a little bit about USF hoops, the season, et cetera, FSU, Florida, all the college basketball, probably some high school basketball mixed in there as well. So we'll get to that. TJ Rives is going to join us for a little hoops. He was calling hoops all weekend, so we'll get his best bets for the NIT. And, we'll get some Bucs talk out of him as well. And we'll be hitting the Rays. We got big college football news involving Clemson and therefore FSU. All kinds of great stuff to dazzle you with. And Peter also wants to beat up on Stu Sternberg today. And you know what? I'm all for it, brother. I'm all for it. Whatever you want to beat him up, let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go here. I
got some more inside scoop for you vis-a-vis the political process for the stadium that's heating up. So we got good stuff. We got good stuff for you.
Yeah.
We may not have the reaction to the Lightning game, but we got everything else.
Yeah.
So here we go. And then if you're commenting, it'll show up in the show and people can read it, but you will not get our esteemed snarky comments about your snarky comments. So there you go.
Exactly. And you won't have to watch the not invited tournament.
Oh, you're so mean.
I'm happy for USF getting invited to that tournament, but
but that's a bitch slap right there. What
you just did. Well, it kind of is, but it kind of is true. And then on top of it, speaking of a bitch slap, how about students and fans? Hey, happy opening day. As always, Stu Sternberg putting his foot in his mouth, Bucs making moves. I mean, so much stuff to talk about here.
Always, bro. So we got 2 hours to chop it up in the number 6 rated JP Peterson Show, number 6 in the top 80 of 2-hour podcasts, according to FeedSpot, whatever the heck that is. But they named us number 6, Pete, so we're going to take it.
Yeah.
We are now it is now the award-winning JP Peterson Show.
Wow, that's great. I feel like wearing that horn, but if I do that,
don't do that. Don't do that. That makes me crazy.
Yes, it does.
Dogs will be barking
a lot. So
but we deserve the horn, but we're not going to take it. All right. So I did not get into these specific comments of one Stu Sternberg yesterday, but I think it'll be nice for you to just revisit them, and so all of our fans can just bask in the glory of what an absolutely unself-aware, hypocrite human being this dude is. I mean, it's just mind-blowing how absolutely the dude cannot read the room whatsoever and just will tell you it's raining while he just pees down your leg. Yeah. Let's listen to the great quotes here. What do you got?
Oh, yeah. Well, it starts off with the byline. Stu Sternberg on payroll. Rays will take real losses in 2024. I'm kind of wondering.
Courtesy of the Tampa Bay Times, correct? Let's say.
Yes, absolutely. Tampa Bay Times. Mark Topkin, of course, the mouthpiece of Stu and the Rays. He says.
You said that, not me.
Yeah, I did. Oh, well. Because, I mean, here's the guy that always mentions the attendance. No matter if they win or lose, always mentions the attendance, especially on a Tuesday or Wednesday night. So
Rays fans love that, by the way. They love that.
Yeah. I mean, what makes me want to go out to a Rays game instead of a guy that's actually credentialed for free talking about the attendance? I mean, come on, man. But again, not reading the room. That's a consistent thing here with the Rays and their mouthpiece. Let's see. I'm swallowing more than hard because it's going to lead to real losses this year. Already, I'm swallowing hard to read these comments. But he said he is willing to do for what ultimately is a good reason. I like to keep this rolling at this point, certainly if we can. Yeah, what's rolling? Nothing is rolling down the block there. You can't score any runs in the postseason, and you refuse to spend in the offseason. But that's just the fact. That's me putting that in there. That's not him saying that, of course. It's mentioned the Rays made the playoffs the last 5 seasons, which only 3 other teams have done, which is a fair statement. It's true. Yeah. We think this is like our sort of time. We think, I don't know, it's sort of our time. Have you ever heard the Glazers or Jason Light say, Brady's here. We think it's sort of our time. How about the Tampa Bay Lightning? Hey, JP, we think it's sort of our time.
It's sort of their time to do what?
Right. To piss fans off. We don't know. You're right. We don't know. We don't know if we're going to have this opportunity in a year or two. Foreshadowing, by the way, a year or two. You know what that means. The dreaded threat of if we don't get our new stadium, we're about to salary cut all of our players, including Randy Land himself, Randy Arozarena, just saying, noting if they don't win this year, they could pull back. 2025, which adds to the stakes. The arrows are pointing up across the board right now. So I wanted him. Well, not after these comments. The arrow is pointing down.
What the hell is this guy talking about? What the hell is this guy talking about? The arrows are pointing up? What? Because you lost Josh Lowe, Johnny DeLuca, and Taj Bradley in spring, and you don't have Wander Franco, Shane McClanahan, Tyler Glasnow, Rasmussen, or Springs. How the hell is anything pointing up? What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Not to get too political here, but I feel like I'm reading Joe Biden and him talking about how many jobs they have there.
Yeah, like Mayorkas saying the border is safe. Nothing to see here.
Right.
There's nothing going on at the border. What are people talking about?
You know why
arrows are pointing up?
Right.
Because I'm going to swallow hard on my losses.
Right. Right. Again,
which losses are we talking about, by the way?
I have no idea.
Is it the $1.5 billion that you've made in the franchise value of the team? Is it that? Are you choking on that? What kind of caviar are we choking on here? Are you choking on the fact that you offered up to pay $155 million for 66 acres of the redevelopment, and that's worth $700 million, and you're choking because they actually said yes? Yeah, I'd choke on that too. Choke on that too. So you're all the concessions that you're getting, they're paying for half of your stadium, and you're going to have to pay $1 million a year for the lease on the land. $1 million. Are you choking because they said yes to all your ridiculous demands? Yeah, they'd have to Heimlich maneuver me if they actually if I actually said that and the mayor actually said yes. Who would say yes to that? That it cost the city and the county $2.4 billion to build a stadium in a redevelopment project where you get very little out of it because the Rays aren't paying any rent. Well, $1 million a year. You're missing out on $411 million in would-be property taxes by just giving it to the Rays for the stadium, and you have to pay $700 in construction costs. Like, it's just the worst deal ever. This is the worst deal since Manhattan got sold for $24. Yo, Indians, you should have asked for more. Pocahontas, you didn't run a really good deal right there. That was bad. You got fleeced. They got fleeced. Yeah. This is worse than the Deshaun Watson deal. This is worse than the Russell Wilson deal. This is the worst deal in history. And they're taking it to a vote of the county commission. Oh, okay, yeah, sure, let's do that. Yeah, let's give away billions of dollars to a billionaire who crapped on our city for 20 years. What a great idea. Let's get into business with a guy that's being sued by his partners for fiduciary fraud. Let's get in. I mean, this is laughable. It's laughable in a location that is absolute whatever. I know you guys get tired of me talking about this, but
no, not at all. Let's go ahead and
for him to have the balls to say that he's uncomfortable or he's got to swallow hard. I mean, you got some Cayones, buddy. Yeah, you really do. to sit there and be getting all this money, be fleecing the public and laughing your ass off and sit there and look into a microphone or a camera and go, I'm going to have to swallow hard on this payroll when you're still going to make a huge profit next year. Just get out of here. Get out of it. Go sell the team.
Can he not talk? Can he not talk before the season? Can he not talk during the season? Can he never talk?
Dude, what is the point of that? Are you trying to sell people to think, oh, Stu Sternberg, thank you so much for spending on $90 million on a payroll, which is $70 million less than the average and still in the bottom 5 of the league. Oh, thank you for swallowing hard. What, I mean, is that what he expects? Yeah. What idiot's doing that? Who even believes you anymore?
Oh, there's some fans out there to believe it that will still defend him to the day he finishes up this diatribe or whatever you want to call it with the D word.
Propaganda.
Yeah, well, you could think of something else there, and it's kind of related to, the S word.
Propaganda.
Right, yeah. So I wanted to make sure we give it a chance to continue to grow. Give Peace a chance. Let's continue to give this a chance to grow and see if we can get things up to a point. And I feel even better. Wait a minute. There's a but here. I feel even better, Rays fans, when we get the stadium deal done. We just need to roll right into it.
I wish it was like the old days, Peter. And like when, these things would be open to all the media. And I could be sitting there with a microphone and he would say that. And I would literally laugh out loud in the middle of the press conference or the scrum or whatever's going on. I would just literally, like he'd say, I got to swallow hard. I'd go, oh, what? People would look over at me and go, oh my God, he's laughing. I'm like, and then Stu would look up and he'd go, what? I'm like, you're swallowing hard. Like what? And I would say everything I just said right in the middle of the media scrum. And then the security would come over and pull me out, and beat me with a billy club. And
Gestapo.
The Gestapo would come over and, and that would be the end of that. That would make God go viral, though, wouldn't it?
It
would
go
viral. Yeah.
It would absolutely.
I'd be like, Stu, what is that? What are you swallowing hard on? Really?
Right. Yeah.
Your little itty bitty $90 million payroll? Who are you selling that to?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? That would be so fun.
Right.
That would be so fun to actually have a conversation about this.
Right.
With a real conversation. Without, any of the PR people jumping in, why can't we have that? Why it's America. We were supposed to be able to have freedom of speech and have these conversations, You
can't do that anymore.
Well, Stu, come on the show. Come on, Stu, come on the show.
Come on the show. Yeah, we got some questions.
Come on. Man, it'll be fun.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
Have a real, you're so much smarter than me. You'll run rings around me.
Yeah.
Come on, man. You'll embarrass me on my own show.
He can do it. The arrow's pointing up here, JP.
For the arrow's pointing up. Yeah.
Yeah. With Josh Lowe being out with an injury, most likely Zach Eflin, by the way, being named the starter today. Knock on wood. Hopefully he doesn't go out with an injury. Oh, by the way, how many?
Oh, did you just really say that? Oh my God.
I'm trying to be as optimistic as I can be about the Rays, but these type of comments right here.
Well, it takes all the it takes all the focus off the team because we have to talk about the ridiculous comments.
Right.
It's just, shut up. Just let your team go out there and play.
Yeah.
So as we look at the roster, what's left of the roster here, I guess I should say, according to the Times, position players.
He's got
will be catcher Rene Pinto, the infielders Jose Caballero, Yandy Diaz, Brandon Lau, Insect Paredes. Caballero, of course, they acquired in the offseason. Be interesting to see what he'll do. Outfielders Randy Rosarena, Harold Ramirez, who's not going to play in the outfield much, and Jose Siri, and swingman Ahmed Rosario, who's had a great spring. I'm interested to see him play. He'll be playing right field, and damn, I hope Jose Siri doesn't get hurt because we don't have a backup center fielder right now, which would be Randy. So, yeah, they got a lot of issues. The other positions, Jonathan Aranda, who had a great spring, and Curtis Mead have won the reserve infield jobs. Very interested to see both those guys can add some serious pop to this lineup. And then we got lefty Richie Palacios, offseason acquisition from St. Louis, who's hit the ball well, worked hard in the offseason to gain a little power. He'll probably get the last outfield spot, according to Mark Topkin of the Times. Backup catcher looks like it may go to Alex Jackson and not Francisco Mejia. So, okay. Interested to see Jackson play. Eflin, as you mentioned, named the opening day starter, followed by Savale, who was unimpressive last year. Zach Littell, who was extremely impressive last year. Ryan Pepio, who we got for Tyler Glass now, who's, a maybe 4 as we give up an Uber number 1. It's a good trade.
Yeah, sure, absolutely.
Or not.
Hey, it's all about the future with the Rays. It's a perpetual rebuild.
All about Ryan Pepio.
I love it. Ryan Pepio. I love this move. You never even seen this guy pitch before. How do you love this?
Luca. So the 5th spot may go to Uwasawa, the Japanese right-hander who's gotten a little better, or may go to Odorizzi, who doesn't seem to be ready just yet, or may go to Tyler Alexander or Jacob Wagaspak. So, yeah, this is a starting staff that is less than impressive in name, but as Kyle Snyder always seems to do, be a top 5 ERA in the league. I don't know how he does it, but he does it. The bullpen closer P. Fairbanks. He's got right-handers Jason Adam and Sean Armstrong, 2 really, really good relievers. Love them. Davinsky, newcomer Phil Matone, and lefties Garrett Clevenger and Colin Poche on the lefties. So, it's a Rays. It's the old Rays kind of roster. I think that obviously very short on pitching and the starting. You just don't have the Shane McClanahans, the Springs, the Tyler Glass now, those guys, Rasmussen. You don't have any of those guys. So it just, this team, I think I would sit here and say it looks more like a 75 win team than a 95 win team. I think that's fair to say. But they'll find a way to put it together. They always do.
Right. Well, they're the Peyton Manning of the regular season until they get to the postseason. Then they basically don't do anything. Why? Because you got to pull back because it's hard to swallow. I can't sustain. I've got to get my new stadium first. That's what I think. That's what I have to do.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
All right. Other thing I want to get to in the first segment here was the seismic move yesterday by Clemson. The Pussycats finally got a little bit of nuts there and joined the lawsuit of Florida State to get out of the ACC, which, of course, they had to do. They were going to, at some point, follow Florida State. I'm like, how long are you guys going to wait? Just make sure the coast is clear before you come out of hiding there, Clemson kiddies. But they finally did, and they were not going to sit back there and watch Florida State leave. And I think what really, really prompted them to do so was the college football playoff announcement yesterday that has ESPN still owning all the games, which I don't love. I thought Fox was going to get a piece of this, and I don't know how the Big Ten allowed them not to. I'd like to know what kind of backdoor dealing and pressure went on there. But for Fox not to get any of the postseason games, which is weird because they're the network of the Big Ten. So basically, the P2 now, it's the Big Ten and the SEC have kind of broken away because they own all the rights now of this college football playoff. They have flexed their considerable economic muscle and basically said, we have all the power and everybody else can just do what we're going to say you can do. We're going to run college football. That's the way it's going to be. So, and ESPN, of course, cooked this up. It's all, the NCAA is nowhere to be found. Which is probably a good thing. But all in all, it's a bad thing because this is going to leave, the bottom, right now, this is 24 and 18. So 42 teams, the top 42 teams. There's a lot of teams that are going to be left out. There's going to be a clear demarcation there between those teams. And, of course, USF is going to be one of those teams that's going to be left out who won't be able to compete economically. And that's not good. It's not good for college football. I don't like it. But I like it a lot more when FSU and Clemson leave the ACC and move into the Big Ten and the SEC, which I think now is going to happen. That's why Clemson did this now. The writing now is on the wall that the ACC, if you haven't seen it already, did you see what happened to Florida State, Clemson? It's, the ACC is now a second-tier conference, as is the Big 12. They are second-tier. And FSU could not stay in there, and they're not going to. And now Clemson has joined them. Expect Miami and North Carolina and Virginia Tech to probably follow suit. Not too long. They're going to have to. And what it does, obviously, is this helps FSU's case. The ACC now is to fight 3 legal battles. It's the one against FSU and Clemson, and the other one that's that they brought against FSU in the state of North Carolina. So they've got 3 venues now that they have to fight against. It's a losing battle. They know they have a bad case. They're going to have to settle. So now it's just a matter of what's that exit fee going to be. And the more that join the fight, the lower the exit fee is going to be. This today really, I think, is the final nail in the coffin for the ACC as we know it. They will lose their marquee teams. They will fill them with, no disrespect, but the USFs of the world. And that's great for USF. That's a step up for them. But the demarcation and the top and the bottom that we're going to see probably in the next 5 years is not something USF fans are going to like. So it's not, and it shouldn't be. I'm totally against this. This is not the way it was supposed to go down. But when you have a lot of greedy and powerful people at the top, this is typically what happens. They're all trying to protect their turf. Now, I will say this. This has long been coming because there have always been have-nots and haves. I mean, even though there is not a demarcation currently in terms of, Alabama and USF, there is, right? USF could never compete for the athletes that Alabama got. They don't have the budget. They could never compete in that level for those athletes or win national championships at the level that Alabama's going to win them. It's just you're at too much of a disadvantage economically, and that sucks for USF. But going forward, if you're not part of this Power 2, you're going to be $30-40 million in arrears. And that money, by the way, is, as I've been telling you, going to go to your salary cap. That is money that's going to go to pay the players, and you're going to be at a huge deficit. So there's going to naturally be a demarcation in divisions. So this is what the future holds. We talked about this a couple of days ago, and this is the manifestation of that, this new college football playoff agreement and Clemson moving out of the ACC. So there you go.
Well, finally. I mean, it's almost like Dabo Swinney is running that program again with the NIL agreement. It took him so long to embrace that, and now they finally
better get on board with that.
Well, it hasn't helped them. That's one thing for sure. It definitely has not helped that program out. So finally, they're a part of this lawsuit, and it's going to be good for those teams, and I think it's also going to be good for USF. But it's a shame because finally USF gets to be a part of a conference. And then, of course, the conference loses all their major teams. So it's a tough situation for USF, but it's a great opportunity for them to get out of the AAC. And eventually that's what you think is going to happen. Or the ACC conference. I can't see them going by the wayside. Can you?
No, I think they'll, as I said, I think they'll bring up the USFs, and other types. They'll cannibalize the lower ones, as happened in all the realignments, right? We've seen this, over and over and over again. It will just happen again, and everybody will have different logos, but they'll all be kind of in similar spots,
right?
And it's the way of the world, right? The rich get richer, and the poor get poorer, but that shouldn't be part of our, that shouldn't be part of our sports. Our sports should be very socialistic, salary caps, spread the money out, make it an even playing field for everybody, and then go play. But that's not going to be the case in college football.
Nope, it's not. And again, that's the future. And that's what a lot of college football fans were always afraid of is, these big conferences being, just one or two big conferences, and the rest of, the have-nots, the little sisters of the poor being left out in the cold. And that's where you're going unless you get to a point where, look, you have March Madness, right? 68 teams, and some people don't even think that's enough. So when do you get to a point where college football, when it expands even more than what it's done this year? What is it, 6 teams? Is it going to expand to 12? Is it going to go to 18? I mean, what's the limit? And I feel like, why not? What's wrong with more college football besides the fact of, well, kids have to do this and do that in school and more tests and all that? Come on.
Nobody cares.
Make some adjustment. Yeah, you're getting NIL agreements. Come on.
Just get some kid to take the test for them like they always do.
Why not? Cheerleader. Of course. We all know about that. Yeah.
What are we doing?
Go to the store, grab the shoes, grab the crab legs with Jameis.
Oh, wow. That's fired on my Seminoles there.
I love this.
All right. Yeah, for God's sakes, your kid shouldn't get some crab legs, right?
Oh, right. Back then, you weren't making any money. Now, I mean,
He would have had an NIL deal with Publix, and he'd be fine, right? That's fine.
exactly. Or seafood dealer.
Yeah, or the Crab Shack, right?
Crab Shack. There you go.
Yeah. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, Coach David Zimroth's going to join us. We're going to talk some March Madness here for our local teams, what's going on with them, and all kinds of fun stuff. We are brought to you by the great folks at the Jeeves Law Group. Scott Jeeves, good buddy of mine, loves the show, loves college football, loves his Gators, and he loves to represent you and kick ass. He's a local guy, and that means something. It's a law firm that has dedicated themselves to vigorously and aggressively representing their clients, and they will make you feel like the most important person in the room, because you are. Don't be just a number of one of these big out-of-town law firms. Go to the Jeeves Law Group, Jeeves lawgroup.com. Back in 3 with Coach Z. See what I did there?
I see it.
JP here for my friends at your local Synovus Bank, and I do mean friends, and I do mean local. One of the local managers in Tampa is John Acosta, big fan of the show, and I've known him for over 40 years. He's been in local banking since 1983. You talk about developing relationships. You don't stick around for that long unless you're doing things the right way and have a great reputation, and that's the focus company-wide at Synovus. Big enough to handle any complex international transaction, but small enough to answer the phone when you have an urgent question about your business or personal account. And for personal accounts, they have a very easy app that works great. You can do everything online. And for large or small businesses, you will get that personal touch and services to help build your business, taking your dreams and aspirations from the whiteboard to reality. We can make that happen. Let us show you how. For a get-acquainted meeting to open a business or personal account, just call John or go to synovus.com to find out where your local branch is. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property, or try to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group, because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com. or call 813-485-6808.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right. Welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here on this Wednesday, as we get enveloped by March Madness. We are brought to you by the Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Get your appointment right there on the website. They do after-hours appointments. Chris Lugo will take great care of you. Get your testosterone right. He will get your blood work right. He'll get your cholesterol right. Get your exercise right. All that stuff. Get you healthy and kind of monitor and give you a master plan for your health, which your primary care guy is probably not doing.
No.
BAMMC.com is where you need to go. All right. We got Coach Z on.
We
ready
do.
to go?
Yeah, we got him
Coach Z, what's up? It's March Madness, baby. It's your time of year. Let's go.
I'm hoping I'm not echoing.
No echo. No
There
echo.
you go.
You always get an echo on your phone, do you?
A couple times, but I've bared through it. You wouldn't notice. You wouldn't know.
That's because you're a pro. You're a pro. That's what you are. You're
He's
a professional.
The man. Yeah.
He's the man. Coach Z. All right. So we're taping, full disclosure, we're taping this on Tuesday night. So we're not actually watching the FSU USF game. But man, what a season they had, and what a absolutely bag of poo they got from the NCAA tournament and the NIT. Not only do you not get in the NCAA tournament, but they send you to your worst rival's house, who doesn't even deserve to be in the NIT, and you got to play on the road against UCF. What a slap in the face, man. That's just not cool. If you were a coach in that situation and that's what you were left with, how pissed would you be?
Well, I mean, you got to look at it a couple of ways. I think the NIT still looks at that first round stuff as geographical locations, make it easier on the teams, because you're talking literally 2 days, after the NCAA tournament. So if you're waiting for a bid and you don't get it, all of a sudden you get 10 o'clock that night, you're told you got to go somewhere. You're either playing Tuesday or Wednesday. So they like to make those first round games rather, easier to get to. So I think that's number one. And number two, you know what? The way they ended the season, this is a good game for them. They need to go down to Orlando and they need to win the game. And they need to, get a better taste in their mouth from how things ended. That's how I would look at it.
Yeah, that's the only way to make yourself feel better, right? Kick some ass. I get it.
That's it. Coach C, do you think they deserve better? Did they deserve an opportunity to get into the tournament with, I get it, they had a loss to UAB and a bad loss to Tulsa and some losses at the beginning of the season, but the way they played 15 straight, did the Bulls deserve the opportunity to get to the tournament?
Again, I'm not completely understanding of all the criteria other than the net. And I've been on the USF bandwagon for 2 months.
You have.
So I thought things looked bad when they lost to Tulsa on the road and dropped out of the top 25. I thought that was basically, they had to win the conference tournament. Now, had they beaten Tulsa and remained in the top 25, they would have remained in the top 25 through the selection Sunday day. So if they even lost in the semis, lost in the finals, at the end of the day, even though they didn't have any quad one games, forget the quad one wins and losses. They didn't play a quad one team. Okay. I would think that committee would say, okay, we're not going to have the 25th ranked team in the country in this tournament.
Right.
So I think that really put everything on the table. They lost to Tulsa, all the experts, everyone, they had to win the tournament. I just felt if they were still in the top 25, got to the championship game and lost, it would have been difficult to say no. But when you look at the teams that had, basically got the big no, big time teams that had great seasons along with them. So they're not the only ones.
That's right. That's true. That got snubbed. So, given what happens tonight, hopefully they can get a home game in the second round. It's unlikely, but man, that would be awesome. That would be awesome for them to get a home game in the NIT second round. We had Lighthall on the show the other day, Jim Lighthall, their play-by-play man. He said, we might get 5,000 or 6,000. I said, come on, dog. We'll get that. Pack the place. Pack the place for one more home game for this team. I would think, and it would be a great send-off.
I think if they win tonight, they're going to get a home game. That's what I think. I think that's what's going to happen, and some people I've spoken to feel the same exact way. I'll tell you this. One of the things about the conference tournament I was a little taken back. Not totally surprised, but a little taken back, was the lack of fan support that USF had out there. The tournament didn't draw anybody at all. But you have the kind of year USF had. You have the postseason accolades they had. You have maybe the national coach of the year. You're the regular season champions. You won 21-2. You couldn't ask for a better regular season by anybody. And they play in Fort Worth. The place was empty. Place was empty.
I know.
Family fan. And I just feel that a lot of these teams that play in front of packed houses, FAU plays in front of packed houses, even though it's small. USF's last 3 games with packed houses. Memphis, those kind of teams. Then they play in an open, just nobody in the arena, 18,000 seats.
Yeah.
It's almost like a COVID game. It was ridiculous. And if you watch the USF UAB game, it was a bad game.
Yeah.
It was a bad game. Took
Just
3
mucked
hours
it up.
to play. It was just a bad, sloppy.
42 fouls.
Yeah, and then there was no emotion. There was, I felt bad for those guys because they deserved better. They deserved better. They deserved more people from here going out there.
Coach David Zimroth joining us here. So it's already been out there that some big programs are looking at Amir Abdur-Rahim as
right.
So a one and done, possibly USF. He's making $1.25 million a year. Michael Kelly's looking to tear up that contract and give him some more money. Sure, USF might be moving to another bigger conference soon, but if you're Amir, how do you not look at these bigger programs right now? I know USF fans are going to kill me for even bringing this up, but it's the way of the world, right, Coach?
Well, yeah, you're bringing up a realistic situation, whether now or some other time down the road if things continue like this. Look, he makes 1.2. All right, how much more money are they going to pay him? Let's just say they really go out and eliminate and give him 2. Let's just say. Do you turn down a job if it's offered? Again, I haven't heard he's been offered a job. I haven't heard his name mentioned for a job. I don't know who's interested or what. It would have to be the right job. Is he turning down $4 million? Is he turning down a job for $4 million? That's what it comes down to if it's one of those big conference, big schools. Okay. What that job would be, I don't know. I think if he's looking at things, you're looking at how that conference was received. The optics on the conference tournament were awful. They were awful. Yet you go to some of these other conference tournaments, the Big East, Big 12. I can't say the ACC because when it's not in Carolina, but they're packed. The places are electric. It's SEC was packed. So those are things he's going to have to evaluate. Look, this is a great place to live. It's a great place to raise your family. It's a great place to work. But at the end of the day, there's always better places to work. And all these places, and when you're making that kind of money, every place is a good place to live.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's already reports out there that Vanderbilt has him on their short list. I think they're in the SEC. Last time I checked,
that would be news to me. But again, that's a big time big time academic school. Great tradition. Have fallen on some hard times in basketball. My buddy Jerry Stackhouse was the coach there. His brother Tony Dawson was assistant. Felt awful for those guys. But again. I think he obviously has an agent. They're going to listen to people, but this is the stuff Mike Kelly also has to be realistic with. Be no different. Mike Kelly was offered the AD's job at Florida. He's not going to listen to those guys?
Of course he is.
So
you gotta always listen. You gotta always listen. Yeah,
it's always it's relative. Yeah. He's going to listen. No different than Golish is going to listen. They're all going to listen.
All right, Florida's in the tournament as a 7th seed, but they lost their big 7'1" center, their rim protector, Michael Hoggeton. Not sure how you say his name, but the dude can play 2.3 blocks per game, changes how they play defense. And we don't know. We'll know after tonight who they're going to play, either Colorado or was it Boise they're playing tonight, or I'm not exactly sure.
Florida plays the winner of the Boise Colorado game.
Yeah. So how does Florida have a chance to advance without their big man in the middle?
Absolutely, because they got another big guy that comes off the bench. They split that position. I think his last name is Condon. So I think they'll be fine. I think just human nature. When they saw what happened to him early in that game, I think it was within 2 or 3 minutes of the tip off.
Yeah,
I think they were shocked. Supposedly, I didn't see any of the videos. Gruesome injury.
Yeah.
As soon as it happened, they said you can hear the break at scores table. The back of his leg filled up with blood. I guess it was just bad. So that's going to take it out of you a little bit. I don't think Auburn's 20 points better than them. But I think they're going to regroup. They're good. Look, they're good. They have a style of play. They're good. Their coach is disciplined to detail. He sticks with what he has done, everywhere he's been, San Francisco and here. He's had a lot of success. He's got really good guard play. So, I think they'll be fine. They're going to play a good team regardless. So I don't know which would be a better matchup. That Mountain West is ridiculously tough. So, Boise would be a very tough opponent, and Colorado had a good year. Colorado, they had a good year. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. And then if they win that game, they play the winner of Marquette, Western Kentucky, which would more than likely be Marquette. Yeah. So they don't have an easy game, any way you look at it.
No easy games at a tournament, that's for damn sure. I know you're not a big bracket guy, neither am I, because I always suck at it. I could tell you this. I got a couple of things for you people, numbers wise. 10 of the 13, 11 seeds have made the Sweet 16. 10 of the last 13, 11 seeds have made the Sweet 16.
Wow.
39 of 42 number one seeds have filled up the Final Four. 12 of the last 16 champions have been number one seeds. 12 of the last 16 champions have been number one seed. And each year, the 9 seeds into the second round is like a 70, 80%. So if you're filling out your brackets, those are just some interesting numbers for you. Everybody wants to pick the upsets, but Z, is anybody beating UConn this year? It could happen. It's the tournament. It's March Madness, but they're freaking loaded. Their chance to repeat is pretty good.
No, they're really good, and they do have a very good chance to repeat. I think if I read it right, they would have to beat, you would think, Iowa State to get to Final Four.
Yeah.
And Iowa State is playing. They're playing as good as anybody in the country. When you hold the number one team in the country to 40 points in a conference championship game, you're pretty good. You're pretty good. The gentleman that coaches there, I think his name is TJ Ostenberger or something. I mean, the guy's done an unbelievable job. They're really tough. I tell you, I don't know who's winning, getting a Final Four. I'm going to tell you 2 teams I love the way they play.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way St. Mary's plays. I love their backcourt. Okay, I watched them a couple times this year, and I just love the way they play. And I thought the way Wisconsin was playing at the end of the year was terrific. They have a lot of weapons. I like the way the coach deals with the kids. I like those 2 teams. I really would like to see Purdue make a run. I'm sick of seeing them get upset.
Yeah.
I like their head coach, Matt Painter. Funny enough, him and Scott Shepard playing the same AAU team growing up in Indiana. I'd like to see him make a run. I'd be happy to see him in the Final Four. I really would, because they've taken some heat with early round losses. So, those are some of the teams I like to see advance.
What about Coach C? What about a New Mexico? I mean, you got Richard Pitino there, son of Rick. You know how you're old, how you figure out you're old. Jamal Mashburn Jr. is on that team now. Right. Jalen House, the son of Eddie House. I mean, they had a great tournament, winning 4 games in 4 nights there. So does it come down to guard play? Because it certainly seems like that team has got it, and they also have that defensive mentality.
Can't go wrong with great guards. Guards that can break you down, make plays for themselves and others, and make shots. Great guards. Connecticut's won with great guards. Most every team that's ever won an NCAA championship had great guards. Mm-hmm. Okay. I think Richard Pitino did a phenomenal job there this year, but I think the other 5 teams that got into the NCAA tournament did a great job out of that league. That league is very good. If any, people say, their seeding was awful. The only non-double-digit seed was San Diego State, but it's a heck of a league. It's a very difficult place to play on the road. And I'll tell you what, New Mexico, Albuquerque is a tough place to play at.
Yeah.
I coach Richard Pitino's brother lives here in Tampa, Chris Pitino. His son trains with me. His 7th grade son trains with me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. How about that?
The Pitino family. How about that?
Yeah.
That's basketball royalty right there. Of course they pick you to.
I might be part of that crew now. Who knows what can happen for me?
Yeah.
You
Hey,
should
that's
be. Why
what
not?
I'm talking about. Let's go.
That crew.
Why
Come
not
on.
me?
Coach Z?
Come on.
Yeah,
Let's get Z a gig. Let's go.
let's do it.
But
All right, partner. When FSU bows out of the ACC tournament, they get a dub and then get absolutely smashed by North Carolina. That was ugly. What's the future like for FSU?
real quickly, I didn't think it was going to happen. They played North Carolina very tough in both games this year.
Yeah.
And I was shocked that they got beat like that. They have 4 guys returning I really like. They have Corin, Miller, Watkins, and Worley. I think, however they do it, whether they sign a great player out of high school, prep school, or they get a great transfer out of the portal, they need to bring in a star. They need to bring in somebody that can just take a game over by themselves. That's the one thing. Watkins was close. The kid from VCU that transferred in. They need someone even better than him. And if they get somebody like him with their depth, I think they're going to be pretty good. So that's my opinion. I don't think they had a good year. I think they're probably going back to the drawing board and figuring it all out. Very quiet up there, though. You don't hear much right now about anything that's going on in their basketball program, which always is not a great time. But he's got unbelievable longevity there. His name might be on the court one day. You never know.
Yep. And probably should be. But we'll see what happens for the future here for FSU. All right. Anything else you got, Z? Anything local? Any high school stuff? Anything else you want to throw out there?
I do have to give a plug to my guy, Larry Antonucci.
Yes.
He heads up the Fowler Avenue Collective for USF.
Mm-hmm.
So anybody that's listening, you USF dads, alums, go on the website, get the Fowler Avenue Collective, donate some monies. Let's see if we can start taking care of some of these kids, these athletes. And
I like that.
The best NCAA tournament team I've ever seen.
Yes. That's right. Yes. Forgot that.
I'm going to give you a quick answer. Okay.
All right.
In my coaching career, not when I was just, high school player or coach, but in my college coaching career, I thought the 89-90 UNLV team with Larry Johnson, Altman, and it was unbelievable. And Larry Johnson might have been the best college basketball player I ever saw at that time. But then a couple of years later, I'm at Florida State, and we played Duke. They win it. I would think they went back to back. And Christian Laettner was unbelievable. He was such a good college basketball player. It was crazy. And then ironically, that Duke team beat UNLV when UNLV was trying to, win back to back. So I would say those two teams, those two players, Grant Hill and Hurley were on the lead. I mean,
what a team.
Teams.
Yeah.
Unbelievable teams.
That was the whole, let's see if we can name that starting 5 for Duke. You had Hurley, Christian Laettner. Who was that? Thomas Hill. Was it Hill?
Thomas Hill, the guy that was crying.
You had you had Leitner's buddy. God dog it. Big 6'7" forward,
yes.
player.
Yeah. God, that team was that team was tough, man.
Something or other. I can't remember. I think that was my scout. No wonder we couldn't beat him. I can't remember the guy's name.
What about that Carolina team with Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson? Who was the big kid at the point too? Dante Calabria shooting threes. Montrose.
That team. I recruited 3 of their starting 5 and didn't get any of them.
you could have been a contender, Z. You could have been a contender.
But just make sure we all understand
Vince Carter
team and the best players were UCLA, Bill Walton, and Lou Alcindor. There's no other discussion.
What about the Fab Five? What about Chris Webber, Juwan Howard?
They didn't win.
They
didn't win.
They didn't.
They didn't win.
They didn't. They had so much talent, though. Man.
They needed an extra timeout.
Oh, yeah. Well, Chris Webber. Ugh. And he traveled. He got away with the travel, by the way. If you watch the replay once again, they let him do that Euro step thing, and he got away with that. And then all of a sudden, he's calling a timeout. It was just like, oh, my God, what are you doing? I could still remember it.
Yeah.
Look, you got to have pros in your lineup. At least in those days, you had to have pros. Billy Tubbs once said, you got to have 3 first-round draft picks if you want to win it all.
Wow.
He wasn't far off back then.
And he sounded just like Jack Nicholson.
Wasn't Billy Tubbs the one who or was that was it Billy Tubbs who grabbed the mic when the crowd was throwing stuff onto the floor, and they told him, "Hey, coach, you got to calm down your crowd." He grabs the mic. He goes, "Hey, no matter how bad the officiating gets, do not throw anything else on the floor."
But tell you a funny Billy Tubbs story. God
He
rest.
throws the mic down. Yeah.
We beat Oklahoma and Billy Tubbs and Arkansas with Nolan Richardson on Sam Cassell. All right. So I'm out watching Sam Cassell in the National Junior College All-Star game. And he put on a show. He was the best player in the court. At halftime, I'm sitting there with my fiance, who's now obviously my wife, Mary. And Billy Tubbs comes walking up the aisle. I'm sitting right on the aisle, and he grabs my shoulder. He goes, "You're having a pretty good night, aren't you?" I said, "Coach, it's a fun night right now." He goes, "I guess so." I mean, he wanted to grab me. He was that kind of guy. You know, he lose a recruit. He didn't take it personally. You know, he was still able to mingle and be, you know, the fun guy he was. He was really a fun guy. I with him a couple times in those days. He was a fun guy.
Awesome stuff, Z. Always tell great stories. We appreciate your perspective, my friend. We'll chat next week as we head to the Sweet 16. Thanks, buddy.
You got it, man.
All right. Great.
Z, yeah,
David's in there.
Yeah.
And if you want to get coached by Z, David Zimroth at Verizon.net, I believe is what it is. If not, you can go to DZ_sports on Twitter and direct message him right there and follow him on Twitter.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff there. Yeah, that was those teams. I got to cover that North Carolina team too. That was that when I was in North Carolina during that time. I was working at ABC station up there. We were bopping around to all the different, on a Monday night I'd be at Wake Forest watching Tim Duncan and Randolph Childress. Just, freaking unbelievable. Tuesday night we're over at the Dean Dome watching Antoine Jameson, Vince Carter, and that whole group. The next night you're over at Duke watching those guys at the Cameron Indoor Stadium, and you got courtside seats and a press pass. Living the dream, bro. Living the dream. Those are some fun times. Those are some really, really fun times. Elite basketball every night. Just the best of the best. And it just that's what college basketball used to be. These guys that, can you imagine taking 3 years of first round picks and keeping them all in college? And a lot of them were on the same teams. Yeah, it's insane. Like to even think about that. But they were. FSU had 5 first round picks playing in that Z era. That's that's pretty incredible stuff when you think about it. And they stayed and they played together and they played great basketball. And that was the golden era of college hoops. What we see today, it's
watered down. It
doesn't hold a candle, man. It just doesn't.
It's hurt. It's still entertaining and fun. And I think you see more number one seeds make the Final Four. And you have to look this up. I don't know but it just seems like there's more number one seeds making the Final Four now than you used to have because it is so unbalanced, if you will. And because the prospects are leaving and you don't have the superstars like you used to. So,
all right, we got to take a break as TJ Rives pops up backstage, but it's a quick break. It's only 3 minutes. We got to thank our tremendous sponsors, including the great Extravaganza Productions, folks. Extravaganza Productions does all the big things here in town, including the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. They just did the Skills Center opening, which was really, really cool. And they do small events as well. If you have just a small business event, a birthday party, any type of graduation, whatever you want to do, and you want to have the best folks make it something special, it's Extravaganza Productions. They'll fit your budget, folks, and they'll give you a free meeting over there. And they can tell you all the different things they got. They'll even give you a tour of their great warehouse that has all the cool stuff back there, all the different props that you see at all the big events at Extravaganza Productions. You just go over just for that. Tell them JP sent you. It's Extravaganza Productions .com. Back in 3 with TJ Rives. Here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves, who lives right here and has long been a highly respected member of our community. He's a proud sponsor of the Tampa Riverwalk. Jeeves Law Group is also a proud sponsor of our Grand Central District in St. Pete and has neighborhood events throughout the year. He has an office on Central Avenue in St. Pete and one on South Howard in Tampa. You can't get more local than that. So when you need an attorney, you're going to hire some huge firm that advertises all over the state or the one that supports your favorite sports show. It's the Jeeves Law Group. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. For personal injury and personal attention, call us for a free case evaluation. That's 8889-JEEVES. That's 8889-JEEVES. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and zero downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Did you know Steve Weintraub founded the Gold and Diamond Source over 40 years ago by selling gold-plated sand dollars? And to celebrate, the Gold and Diamond Source is selling gold sand dollar jewelry with the proceeds supporting Julie and Steve Weintraub's foundation, Hands Across the Bay. Yes, in 1984, Steve opened their first location, expanded to 9 stores as far as Atlanta, but now they've consolidated all that inventory under one roof, becoming one of the largest family-owned fine jewelry stores in the country. Julie, of course, joined forces with her husband 20 years ago, and they're going to celebrate by offering up to 40% off select jewelry items. Plus, with gold prices near all-time highs, it's the perfect time to trade in your broken or unworn pieces for something new and stunning. Unlock the value in your jewelry box today at the Gold and Diamond Source. It's always one place, and it's always a great place. The Gold and Diamond Source celebrating their 40th anniversary, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to a hump day edition of the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the great folks at Italiano Insurance. Go see Charity over there or give them a call and ask for Charity. She's awesome. She is the best customer service person I have ever had in the insurance world, maybe any customer service person. She stays late. She'll do whatever she has to do to get the job done. Had some issues with my claim, and she helped me out with those as well. So let them do all the work. They'll shop your insurance rates around, save you money. They'll help you whenever they can. 813-877-7799, an old family business with great customer service. Ain't that great? Ain't that great? You don't see that anymore. That's Italiano Insurance. Oh. They've been doing it for 60 years in Tampa Bay. Great folks over there, Jeff Italiano, all the great folks. All right, speaking of great folks, professional segue, the great TJ Rives joins us here, Bucs sideline guy, and fresh off his trip to Vegas, baby, where the Bolts are tonight. And they're on a heater as they roll into Vegas, as was TJ Rives. What's up, partner? How are you?
I have survived. The town is still standing as far as we know. Now the Lightning are there. And then these 2 days, I mean, they were bracing for this. I can tell you it was nuts the week before, but they're bracing for Thursday and Friday and the mayhem of all the tourists and all the prices go up 30 to 50% on everything from hotel room to food to entertainment. Crazy time. Great to be out there. I was broadcasting the Mountain West Championship, won by New Mexico for TuneIn. So it was a lot of fun to be out there, be part of that. I think I might be over the jet lag by April. So we'll see how we do. I'm getting old, JP.
Come on, you're out there carpooling the twins around tonight.
So I get back into town, and I got practice driving going on, but we don't have licensed drivers yet. So Dad's the carpooler. Right. I got to get them to and from where we have to go. So these are my roles in life right now.
How's the basketball season going? I got to know.
They have finished up on the JV basketball season. They're done. We're going to move on to like recreational flag football. They're trying to figure out. One of them's looking at me going, I don't know any of the rules. I said, that's okay. Most of the others in recreational flag don't know the rules either. We'll figure it out together. But I understand my roles right now in life, which is, can you take me wherever we have to go? and we need money. You can identify with this, JP.
You're an ATM
right?
and
the
an Uber.
ATM,
That's
the
what you
Uber,
are.
the chaperone, all of those different things. So we're good
Parenting,
on good on that. But I'm here to help on the day before the mayhem begins with some bracket advice, some upsets, whatever you need, whatever avenues you want to travel. I'm here for you.
Well, let's start. We want to get a little Mountain West flavor. Coach Z was just telling us that's one of the deeper leagues in America. What they get 5 teams in or something ridiculous?
6 in.
They got
the
Mountain West.
In.
Wow.
Doing?
Well, it was better than the Pac-12 was for this season. And again, I realize we can all get affected by recency bias, what we see right in front of us. But that New Mexico team that beat San Diego State the other night, they've got several key things. One, they've got guards. You know this. You got to have guards this time of year. Veteran guards. And both of them are the son of former NBA players, former Miami Heat players in Jamal Mashburn Jr. We're alive long enough now, JP, that Jamal Mashburn's son is a college star. Jalen House, the son of Eddie House, the former NBA player who also played with the Heat. That's Richard Pitino, the son of Pitino's guards. He's got a couple of other big men. And again, they played in a very tough conference. Watch out for New Mexico. I'm going right there for a Friday upset, an 11 seed against a 6 seed in Clemson. What is Clemson doing as a 6 seed in this tournament?
How the hell they even get in a tournament?
And they're a 6, which means this committee, which may or may not have been playing pin the tail on the donkey with a blindfold for the seeding, this committee thinks that Clemson is one of the 24 best teams in the field. Obviously, 4 brackets, 6 seeds. I went to public school. I went to Memphis State. That's 24. They believe they're one of the 24 best teams. Clemson. New Mexico is going to beat them. New Mexico with the guards, with the inside play. I know Clemson plays in the ACC, but look out. Those guys won 4 games in 4 days. I saw it firsthand. It was electric in that building, the Thomas and Mack Center where UNLV plays. They had about 15,000 there. I think about a third of Albuquerque was there for New Mexico's win Saturday. They look good. Give me that as an upset right away. Peter Blake's taking notes. Put that down right now, Peter Blake.
Writing it down.
New Mexico over Clemson. Put it down.
I put it already down, and with that being mentioned, listening to your broadcast that got me through the monotonous journey of driving Uber Eats for 12 hours. I felt like I was there, which was awesome. You, Jason Powers,
TC Martin, our buddy out in Vegas. TC's like the unelected mayor. We were on the call. Peter did send me a text like halfway through the game. Thank God this is keeping me awake and alert while I'm doing my driving on Saturday night, and that was an exciting game to do. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. A lot of fun to do.
It's like
and
the
again,
UAB USF game. Very similar atmosphere.
Not quite with what was going on at the American Conference. I think
Morgan Fort Worth they played in. They're like wheeling in dead bodies like on the baseline as they're playing. It's like
they've got to evaluate. They've got to perhaps evaluate playing somewhere where someone might show up besides continuing to play in Fort Worth for that one. But we'll talk about USF in a second, and obviously the American Conference just turned out to be a complete free-for-all debacle with the championship game. But San Diego State, all right, so this is very interesting. Speaking of the American and UAB gets the automatic bid. They're a 12 seed. They're playing San Diego State all the way out in Spokane in the 12-5 game. That is a physical team. They were in the Final Four last year. They've got a couple of returning pieces. One of them is their big guy, Jaden Ledee. Ledee, about 6'9", JP, built like a defensive lineman, about 6'9", about 250 pounds, thick, great free throw shooter, gets to the line a bunch. The only thing is UAB likes to go up and down and full court press, and they burned USF with it. This is a contrast in styles. Do not be surprised if Alabama Birmingham wins that game in Spokane. They're hot after what they just did. Andy Kennedy is a solid coach. Been in the NCAA tournament now 2 of the last 3 years with UAB. Don't be surprised if San Diego State, the Final Four team from a year ago, maybe bows out right off the bat against UAB. I don't know, on an upset.
Okay. Well,
wow. I'm writing it down right now, by the way. Again, writing it down.
Look, the upsets are coming. I mean, for God's sake, we had a 16 beat a 1 last year. Fairleigh Dickinson beating Purdue. We had a 15, Princeton beat a 2. And almost nobody had either one of those. And it blew brackets up everywhere that had Arizona or Purdue in the Final Four. Yeah. There are upsets coming. teams with double digits next to their name are going to be winning starting Thursday. And I just hope that like by 4 p.m. Eastern time on Thursday that my bracket is still somewhat intact. Usually it is not. We will find out.
You got any 3 or 4 or worse seeds making it to the Final Four?
Mexico, I mean, don't call me crazy. We've had 11 seeds in the Final Four. UCLA, 2021 was an 11 seed, got to the Final Four. Virginia Commonwealth came out of the first 4 as an 11 seed, made the Final Four. FAU last year was a 9 seed and got to the Final Four.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised if New Mexico somehow is there. New Mexico in the bottom of that West bracket has Arizona. I know North Carolina's in the top of that bracket as the 1 seed. Mm-hmm. Don't be surprised if New Mexico somehow emerges. Maybe, again, I am intoxicated on what I saw in person, and somebody's got to settle me down, but I saw enough that said that can be a dangerous team in a wide-open situation with that. And for whatever reason, I mean, everybody's going to pick UConn to be in the Final Four, if not win the championship. Everybody's got that in their bracket. Everybody's probably got Houston coming out of the South. I mean, that's almost a given that everybody's got those two. So then the question becomes, who else? Who else out of the Midwest bracket or out of the West bracket that will be there with them? Again, out of the Midwest bracket, how do you trust Purdue that's lost repeatedly to double-digit seed teams?
Houston. Houston, after what happened to him in the championship game, they scored, 40?
Are they a little injured? Did they not care in the second half of that game? Yeah. Houston could be playing Texas A&M in the second round, Old Southwest Conference matchup in the second round. But, I mean, out of that Midwest bracket, how do you trust Purdue? Yeah. How do you trust Rick Barnes and Tennessee as the 2 seed? Kansas has already announced now that Kevin McCullough, the guard, can't play with the injured knee. Yeah. So how do you trust them as the 4 seed? JP, you got to go down the list. Who are you trusting in the Midwest bracket? Somebody's got to be in Phoenix for the Final Four. I don't know who it is. Again, somebody's coming out of there. Put the blindfold on and throw a dart at the dartboard.
Why do you think Purdue has been eliminated so many times, especially last year in the first round? What is it about that team?
JP always loves when I do this, and we can talk about it. It applies to any sport. It's this right here for the video audience that's seeing us. Tightiest of the sphinctious. We start playing tight. We don't make shots. We're nervous. The other team's making shots, and then, oh, my God, they may be able to beat us. And it's happened over and over again where Purdue has lost to double-digit seeds. They lost to St. Peter's, almost unforgivable, JP, that 2 years ago, St. Peter's beat Kentucky on the opening night as a 15 seed. Yeah. St. Peter's then won the next game 2 days later. Purdue then had 4 more days to prepare for St. Peter's and still lost to them in 2021. Whatever it is with Matt Painter and company not being able to be prepared for teams that they should be able to beat, athletic budget, tradition, type of recruits you get, you should be able to beat double-digit seeded teams most of the time, but for whatever reason, it's eluded them. I don't know how you trust them. I know they've got the largest human being in the NCAA tournament, Zach Edey, 7'5", 290 pounds. But, JP, what about this? You've seen it throughout your entire broadcasting career. How is the game officiated? He's been used to Big Ten officials that let him get away with some stuff or call fouls against him. Mm-hmm. Now, if he gets into a setting, let's say in a second-round game with either Utah State or TCU, and he gets a couple of quick whistles and a couple of quick fouls because it's not Big Ten refs, that is big trouble for Purdue. And JP, you've seen it.
It's a great point because, much like hockey, the NCAA tournament becomes a kind of a different sport because of the officiating. You got to remember, you have conference refs all year long, especially the last 2.5 months of the season, and they know every team, and they know every player, and they know every coach intimately. And, the teams know what to expect from each crew, what they can get away with, what they can't. They go in completely blind to the NCAA tournament. They have no idea what they're going to get. And with a five foul disqualification, it can have a huge effect on games. And especially with a big guy like that, because, Big Ten refs know how, guys bounce off him. He's such a huge human being that you get used to.
You want a story? Yeah. To your point. You want a story? All right. So I'm in the sports book on Saturday afternoon, Eastern time, before we headed over to do the New Mexico-San Diego State game. So in the sports book where we were, I'll give the plug, we were in the Westgate, which is a massive, massive sports book with the big video wall of TVs. We've got 3 or 4 Wisconsin fans around us while Wisconsin's playing Purdue. They're in the full getup. They've got their sweatshirt, their hat. I kept waiting for somebody to maybe have the Bucky, the Badger, or the Cheesehead on. They didn't have that. So after about the second time that Edie played bowling ball against the Wisconsin players, knocking them over to get a rebound, this guy next to me is yelling, "What in the name of God do we have to do to get a foul call on this guy?"
You won't get it.
I mean, but you're to your point, Big Ten refs may be letting that go, and now you're concerned that other officials that have been working in the Big 12 or in the Pac-12 or in the American Conference and haven't been working Big Ten games blow fouls on him. And if you're Purdue, we don't need to overemphasize this, but it could be a factor. It could be a factor for them if he's in foul trouble.
No question. All right, so as we said, we're taping this show on Tuesday night as USF plays UCF. The Bulls have an early 11-8 lead over on the campus.
So we're doing real-time scoring on a taped show.
Exactly.
So let me just say, what a great comeback by USF. I mean, a fantastic final 2 minutes, and that last second shot was incredible. I'm lying. I have no idea what happened in the game.
I just think, and I said this to Z, like, they get crapped on. I mean, not only do you not go to the NCAA tournament, but we're going to send you to your own personal hell, which is UCF.
Right.
Yeah, that the worst, ugliest campus I've maybe ever seen.
And what I don't know, and I don't know if Z shed light on this, but sometimes what happens is they contact a school and the building is not available. I don't know if the Yingling Center was available.
This was an automatic.
So ESPN did it.
Yeah, it was an automatic thing. The new format they came up with, the NIT. The top 2 teams in each big league that don't get in are offered home games in the NIT.
And it's up to them to decline.
Oklahoma was supposed to get one, and they declined. Yep. So UCF wouldn't even got in the tournament. And then you got a 24-7 team that has to go on the road to their rival.
Yep.
I mean, the disrespect.
Well, let's hope they pull it off. You know that out. You know this.
Oh, we're having a late night Wi-Fi freeze on TJ
UAB.
TJ, are you there? Come on.
Should we take him out and bring him back in?
You better. That's just mean. He's got you. Your face froze as like.
That's
Bucky
okay.
It
Sorry,
froze
I'm back.
like Bucky the Chipmunk.
Okay, sorry about that. One of the things as we do this live now that we typically don't have this problem in the morning time, but you can identify with this. Yeah. Guess who's in my house right now? God. 2 of them with their mother, my wife, and everybody is streaming 6 different things at the same time. And so now you understand
respect for Dad doing his show.
But anyway, my apologies for the video stream hiccuping. I don't know what you heard, but what I was leading up to is the American Conference Tournament automatic bid was right there for the taking. Absolutely right there for the taking. And on Saturday, how do you not play better against UAB than what they did, where they give up 90-plus points, they get rattled by the full court press? Because, my God, if you win that game, you're playing Temple for the automatic bid. An absolute layup situation. I know Temple had already upset Florida Atlantic and upset
but that was a layup. You're right. It was a layup.
But,
it was a layup.
I mean, you talk about what a gut punch to end the season, to not only lose in the semifinal, but have UAB get to play Temple for the chance to go to the NCAA tournament. What a footnote on the end of what was a tremendous season. I mean, you cannot take away a regular season title. You cannot take away Amir Abdul-Rahim being the coach of the year in the American Conference. Can't take those things away. But, man, you would almost trade it if you could have beaten UAB and been playing for the automatic bid against Temple, not Florida Atlantic.
Can you imagine they might be playing tonight on the play-in game, but it would just been, so incredible to see that here at USF to get into the tournament. But let's just hope they can hold on to their coach. Vanderbilt's sniffing around.
That's another concern.
Minnesota's sniffing around. I think I saw.
You got all kinds of programs with openings in the Big Ten and elsewhere. Again, one of the things we come back to, this is a phenomenal place to live. You have established something. He's going to get a raise. The grass isn't always greener when you go somewhere else moving up.
Agreed.
So maybe he sticks around here and says, we got something that we can build. And keep in mind, it's a conference that you're very competitive in. You've already demonstrated it in your first year that you can win. So we'll see what happens with South Florida there in that matchup. I didn't hear either one of you with an upset as all this mayhem begins on Thursday. Do you have a different upset besides what I was laying out for you out of a New Mexico maybe?
I like
or
New Mexico. New Mexico was my upset special.
I'm going with New Mexico too because I've heard enough on Saturday night where I was like, Jamal Mashburn Jr., really?
Uh-huh. And he's not as big and thick as Dad was. He's probably about 6 foot, probably about a 200-pound guard. He's quick. He can shoot it. Both of those guards are built the same way. Jalen House, the son of Eddie House, is built the same way. Quick, laterally, jab step, shoot the three, dribble, penetrate. Neither one of them are going to go amongst the tall timber and lay it in on people or dunk on people. They're not those types of players, but they can score. That'll be fun. Another one again with Kansas being damaged goods. What about Samford out of the tiny Southern Conference, out of the Birmingham suburbs? Bucky McMillan, the coach, who 4 years ago was a high school coach in Hoover, Alabama. They took a chance on him, and 4 years later, Bucky is in the NCAA tournament with the Samford Bulldogs, and they've got a couple of players. So watch out for that as a 13 beating a 4. You want something fun. You love this. So the Twins now love getting in the bracket. I still say this, when they were very little back 15 years ago, when they were like roughly 9 months old and we're trying to sit them up, we had them pick a bracket where they would crawl over to whichever color block of the teams that they were. They had blocks, green, blue, red, yellow. Whatever block they came over and crawled over to and picked, we picked a bracket for them. They picked like 25 games right doing that just by picking by colors 15 years ago. What does that tell you? This is the reason why for so many years in these office pools that the ugly middle-aged secretaries, can I say that on the Fanstream JP show, would always seem to win because they know nothing about this. The less you know, the more dangerous you are with these picks. But anyway, one twin was talking to me filling out her bracket, and she had seen part of the Illinois game, and Illinois won the Big Ten tournament on Sunday right before the selection show. She says, and I quote, Dad, who was that team that won Sunday before the show? And I said, you mean the Big Ten team, Illinois? She goes, the team that was in the white and the orange. I said, yes. She goes, I'm picking them to win the national title. She can't tell you who they are, but she actually watched them for a couple of minutes, and she wants to pick that team. So at your own risk, go against Abby Rives, 15 years old, who has Illinois just on partial sample, like I don't know, JP, like a wine tasting or like, know, a sample tasting at Costco on a Saturday morning. She sample tasted Illinois, doesn't even know their name. She picked them to win the national title. Watch out for Illinois coming out of the East bracket.
I like James Madison over Wisconsin.
Oh, yeah.
12 over the 5. Wisconsin, they got hot from 3, made a little run through the Big Ten tournament, but different arenas. James Madison, highly motivated.
I do original research for you, and I write it down. I handwrite notes on backs of envelopes. I do original research. There have been 19 times, JP and Peter, that a 12 seed has beaten a 5 seed since 2010. 19 times. There was not one a year ago. There were 2 of them in 2022, 12s beating 5s. One of them in 2021. No tournament in 2020, but 3 of them in 2019. We have had 6 12 seeds win a tournament game in the last 4 tournaments. Out of James Madison, out of McNeese State, which is the team playing Gonzaga, out of who are my other ones? Grand Canyon with St. Mary's and UAB against San Diego State. Those are the 12s. Pick one of those 12s. Maybe pick 2 of them in your bracket. Peter's taking more notes. Pick James Madison, Grand Canyon, McNeese, or UAB. Out of that group, pick at least one of them And James Madison's won 31 games this season. They're the Sun Belt champs.
Yes.
They go up and down the floor. They
Mhm.
play quick. They shoot 3-pointers. I know Wisconsin had a good Big Ten tournament. That may be your upset, JP, in the
All
South
right.
bracket.
Well, what about McNeese State? What about them?
Renegade team, literally.
Yes.
Will Wade is a renegade coach, banned by the NCAA for a few games for his troubles at LSU, where he got fired. McNeese has got like 3 transfers from other programs.
Shahada Wells from TCU.
They have
fills it up.
They have been beating up the Southland Conference. And again, they got a damaged Kansas team. Look out for McNeese in that opening round game. Kansas should win, but look out for McNeese in that
they're
wide
playing
open
number 5
Midwest region.
Gonzaga.
You
Gonzaga's not the usual Gonzaga.
You convinced me. McNeese State is
No, McNeese Gonzaga. Excuse me, McNeese Gonzaga. Sanford has Kansas, but Gonzaga. I mean, we talked for weeks. Are they going to be in the NCAA tournament or not?
Do they still have the guy with the mustache that was there for like 10 years?
No. They've moved on.
Okay.
They got new players. But they were a 5 seed. That means, again, this committee believed they were one of the 25 best teams in the tournament. Many people believed they were going to maybe be in Dayton in the first 4 up until the very end of the season. So a lot of this, again, didn't seem to make sense. But
this is a weird year, man.
This doesn't seem like a Gonzaga year where they can be a Sweet 16 or Elite 8 team. They may get beat right away, like you're mentioning against McNeese.
All right, TJ Rives, Bucs sideline guy. Been a big week for the Bucs since we last spoke.
Yeah.
I went to the Baker press conference, got a little FaceTime with Bake.
I saw him.
They bring in Bryce Hall. They get a couple of big stout guards from the NFC East. I mean, this just team looks like they're really putting something together special. And I know this, this isn't a Super Bowl caliber team, but maybe it is. I don't know. I just like what they're doing.
I heard you saying that on the Tuesday show.
Yeah.
But for right now, let's see what the draft looks like.
That's right.
Free agency's not completely over yet. They don't have a lot of money to spend.
Oh, he didn't.
Look at the shirt I'm wearing. I work for the team. I freely put that out there to everybody that I work for the team. Am I still good here on the stream? I don't know.
Yeah, you're good.
I saw the blink. I saw the blink there again.
You're good.
But to re-sign Mike Evans when so many people thought you were going to lose him, you hang on to Antoine Winfield. You re-sign Baker Mayfield. That is a winning offseason right there to reload with those. Those are impact guys that are back on your team, which some combination of could have been gone if you didn't have a savvy front office led by Jason Light and John Spytek and his cap guy and all their staff to get them back. And now you've got to retool some on defense. Obviously, you've traded Carlton Davis. Obviously, you've said to Devin White, goodbye. You've held the door, and he can leave. He left. He went to Philadelphia. I had Philadelphia media contacting me about, how do you guys let a Super Bowl champion and Pro Bowl player get away? And I said, honestly, truthfully, he's not been that. I mean, I'm being kind. This is the truth. He's not been that same player the last 2 years, or else the Bucs would have re-signed him.
No.
So now you've got to retool with who's middle linebacker, who's helping with cover corners. You're going to probably draft one of those. I keep saying you can't have enough pass rushers. You know this. You can't have enough receivers. You can't have enough cover corners. You got to go after those guys. So let's see what they continue to do in free agency and the draft, though, guys, because it's still a process.
What they're doing. But hey, the Saints signed Chase Young.
Right.
And he had a neck procedure.
Ooh.
And he's already come off the torn up knee, and most believe he's not been the same player since that. And ask yourself why San Francisco would trade for him and not re-sign him.
Exactly.
John Lynch,
not even play him. Hell,
John Lynch,
benched him.
besides not playing him, John Lynch doesn't believe enough to try to re-sign him. Okay.
Yeah. And you're going to give him $13 million?
We shall see. And I know I'm around a lot of Atlanta media people, you are too, that are all going gaga over Kirk Cousins. We keep saying the same thing, 36 years old off an Achilles injury.
And they could have had Justin Fields for a 6th-round pick.
We'll see.
What?
Yeah.
What
a joke. What a joke by Chicago. I mean, you dropped the ball on that.
Well, Chicago, I don't know. I don't know what they were offered at any point for Justin Fields, but I got to believe that was more than a six-round pick.
6th-round pick for a
freaking kidding me?
guy that has all that potential. And again,
the Steelers, I mean, my God.
Right.
And it's a cheaper alternative, obviously, for Pittsburgh. How about who had on the bingo card for 2024 when the season ended last year Our quarterback competition is Russell Wilson and Justin Fields.
It's not even a competition, according to.
Well, who knows? But that's the two guys.
But he's the heir apparent.
Yeah,
so
that's the two guys that are there. So fascinating.
Russell
what the NFL
take him under
offseason
his wing. Russell take him under his wing. Teach him how to alienate himself from all his teammates. And get an office.
Private office. Yeah, absolutely.
Teach him how to be hated by everyone in the organization. And,
how to get ousted inside of a year and a half in your new situation in Denver.
It's hard to learn these things on your own. You got
to have a veteran that can take you under his wing.
There you go.
With that, and I mean, everybody's
completely inauthentic.
Anybody and everybody is thinking they had a great off season with their free agent moves and with the draft. That's what this time of year is all about. So I'm anxious for the next phase. The next phase is the draft phase, which again, for all of the comments about, what are the Bucs going to do? Look at all of the contributors the last couple of years that this team is reloaded with, from Rashad White to Cade Otton, Jake Camarda. How has that worked out as the punter? Kickoff guy. Look at Yaya Diaby last year. Mm-hmm. I know you didn't draft him, but you go find a Christian Isian. What about Kalijah Cansey? Yeah. I mean, I am excited. Cody Mauch started the whole year at right guard. Luke Gedeke from 2 years ago started at right tackle. I am confident that out of this draft class, you're going to get 2 or 3 contributors. Yeah. Why would you not be confident of that right now with what you've seen the last few drafts? You're going to get 2 or 3 contributors out of this draft, you would think.
And then on top of that, you got an extra 3rd-round pick, so you've got extra ammunition. So I don't know if somebody falls, and I'm hoping, Jared Verse from Florida State has a bad 40 time and his pro day maybe slips down, and then the Bucs trade up for that guy. Because could you imagine Jared Verse on one side and Yaya Diaby on the other? That's a nightmare scenario, and those are the building blocks that you build a defensive line around.
Yep, you got to have pass rushers. We keep talking about that.
We got to start putting out some like negative information on Jared Verse to make him fall. Let's just start putting up some juicy rumors, like stays up too late playing Roblox.
Not in shape. Yeah, hits the nightclubs. Elementary school teachers didn't like him. I always love that
when they go
mayo
back on his peanut butter and jelly.
Right.
Yeah, you don't want any part of that.
I still remember this. This truthfully happened. All right. You want the story? You love the TJ stories. When the Buccaneers were looking at drafting in the top 10, and I believe this was the year where they took Mark Barron. So forgive me, Peter, you might remember it off the top of your head. It's probably like the 2011 draft, something like that. 2012. All right. In that top 10, is that the top 10 where Jacksonville eventually took Justin Blackman, who you never heard of, the receiver out of Oklahoma State, and they took him in the top 10?
I was begging for Deshaun Jackson. We
Buccaneers, and a staff member to Stillwater, Oklahoma. Said staff member went to a couple of the nightclubs in the winter and the spring, just looking for one person to see if he was there. And Justin Blackman was there over and over and over again, like multiple times, until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And the report back to 1-800-1-BUCK-PLACE was, do not draft this guy.
Yes.
DND. Yes. Do not draft Justin Blackman. And sure enough, washed out in like a year or two, unfortunately, in substance abuse rehab, at least once or twice. But teams will do that. They will go to great lengths to find out what's going on with this guy. That, I'm telling you, that actually happened. And that's one of the reasons why the Bucs put a DND next to his name back more than a decade ago.
All right, my friend, got anything you want to promote? Any type of content?
We're all good. By the way, college basketball coast to coast. We have got all kinds of pre and post NCAA tournament shows coming this weekend, podcast form, live on the college basketball coast to coast YouTube platform, Twitter, etc. We are here for your bracket empathy if it's blown up Thursday, Friday. We're going to be rolling all the way through the Final Four. We'll be live at the Final Four. I'll probably check in with you live from Glendale, Arizona in the Final Four when we're there that weekend. College basketball coast to coast, YouTube channel, Twitter page, TuneIn channel, all of that. We're live on that channel, pre and post NCAA tournament games. Check it out there. And other than that, anytime you guys need me, let me know. I'll be here with you. Put the bat signal up, even on tape delay. I love it. Don't pick all the favorites, kids. You're watching this a day before the brackets. Do not pick all the favorites. Go with some teams with double digits next to their names because some of them are going to win.
By the way, Bulls leading 27-16 on this tape-delayed broadcast live update. 30.
It was a tremendous night where the Bulls won by 35. Huge night.
Bitch slap them Knights.
So if you know that it's another collapse, just play along with us here.
We'll edit it out.
In the not invited tournament. I know
that's correct. The not invited NIT. Listen, be well. I still believe these 2 days, Thursday and Friday, should be national holidays.
I agree.
There ain't any productivity. Nobody's getting any work done.
No.
As it is.
No.
Everybody's trying to watch the games.
And we're watching Valspar too. We'll be watching golf.
Yes, the Valspar this weekend with a great field.
Yeah, we
got all kinds of spring training. The Rays season. We're ready for all of that. We got to figure out who the Rays players are, but hey, we got time to do that on the season.
Well, Stu had some great comments.
Stu has to swallow hard.
I saw the Blake. Can I leave you this? I saw the Blake Snell deal for $62 million, and I thought to myself, how many years would that have been on a Rays contract for $62 million? With that, you guys be well.
Thank you, sir.
Happy March.
There he is, the world famous Uber driver and ATM.
Exactly.
DJ Rives. That's what you become. All right. We got to take another break. We'll come back and we'll talk a little. How about if we talk a little lightning? Yeah,
let's do it.
We're expecting Tanner Janot to make his reappearance tonight in Vegas, baby, as the Lightning roll in on a heater. Of course, we're taping the show. That's why we're saying this. So, quick break. We'll be back. We're brought to you by the Synovus Bank, folks. It's the big bank with the local bank feel. Head on in there and get a new personal account or move your business account over there. You will get that extra special small bank service. They will make you the most important person in the building because you are. It's Synovus Bank. Just ask for my good friend John Acosta over there. They got a lot of experienced local bankers like John everywhere in all the branches. So head on over and tell them JP sent you, synovusbank.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group and my man Scott Jeeves. If you're going to hire an attorney, do you want some guy looking for a quick settlement and a quick buck, or do you want an attorney with some chops? Scott is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator. Been practicing in the Tampa Bay area for over 30 years. He is a peer-reviewed AV preeminent-rated civil trial lawyer. They just don't hand out those classifications. He's been the lead class action counsel on many complex consumer protection cases and has handled hundreds of serious personal injury cases. He's dedicated his career to protecting injured victims and is committed to vigorously representing you. We're local, we're trusted, and we get results. Personal injury and personal attention. Call for a free case evaluation. That's 888-9-JEEVES. That's 888-9-JEEVES. The Jeeves Law Group. JP here for the Geddes Gordon Real Estate Group and our good friend Jane Geddes. Folks, simply put, there is nobody like Jane. Jane is a former LPGA two-time major championship winner. She was also vice president of talent relations at WWE. She also has a law degree from Stetson. So if Jane can drain a 10-footer to win the U.S. Open and stare down Hulk Hogan in the boardroom, you want Jane on your real estate team to not only negotiate the best deal, but find you the perfect home or investment property. And when you work with the Geddes Gordon Group, you become part of the real estate family and get concierge services that include expertly staging, marketing, and preparing your home for sale. Advice on golf properties. Hey, you might even get some golf tips. Many of their clients become friends long after the sale or purchase is completed. It's all part of the deal. So if you're looking for that perfect home or investment property or trying to get top dollar for your home, go with Jane Geddes and the Geddes Gordon Group because there's nobody like Jane. Call 813-485-6808 or go to geddesgordon.kw.com. That's GEDDES Gordon.kw.com or call 813-485-6808. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset. So make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by our great real estate dynamic duo of the Geddes Gordon Group and American Mortgage Services. It's a great time to get back in, folks, because interest rates are kind of coming down a little bit, and that's going to put some people back into the market. Don't wait till they come all the way back down to where they were, because it will be a feeding frenzy. And as we say all the time, the big banks are just going to try to really put it to you, folks, and get you all those extra fees. You don't want to do that. American Mortgage Services will get you the lowest rate and the lowest fees. AMS Tampa. That's Scott at amstampa.com. Scott at amstampa.com. He will take great care of you. So if you're looking for a refi or a mortgage, he is the man to do it. Little comeback here for UCF. That's 33-24.
Oh yeah, the live update on the
tape show update. Keep you back. In the break, I was trying to find the game somewhere. I got 1,000 channels on Spectrum. Nowhere to find a UCF USF game. If you have ESPN Plus, you can watch it on your phone or your. You
gotta pay extra for that. That's how it goes. I mean, you don't pay enough for streaming cable services.
I've got so many scripts. Jesus,
it's gone up like $190 for me
per month.
Yes, I've got
Spectrum.
I've got to figure it out. Like the internet's fine most of the time, but then you add streaming services and they tack on all this other unnecessary garbage. Like, why can't you just give me the sports channels I want without charging me the extra? I don't want all those stupid shopping channels that they put on there. I have no use for it.
No,
I'm not.
I watch like 10 channels tops.
Yeah,
it's bizarre, and this whole world of streaming now is it's crazy.
Yeah.
How many different subscriptions you got to have just to watch an NFL season?
Oh, yeah.
Amazon, Peacock, ESPN Plus. I mean, Netflix. Jeez, Pete.
I got to ask you, because Netflix is about to have a fight here in July with Mr. Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson. What did you think? What do you think of that? Because a lot of people think it's a circus. They think Tyson will
Has Jake watched the Tyson workouts at 57 years old? Has he seen those workouts?
Pretty brutal.
I'm watching the workout. I'm like, oh, this is they've sped this up. Like it's like this is like fast speed, right? They how you can like adjust it to like 1.5 or 2 and it speeds up.
Sure.
I'm like, no, the dude is still lightning quick.
Yeah.
And he's big and he's ferocious. Like, I don't know what the hell he's taking, but damn.
He's not gonna bite your ear off.
He don't look like no 57-year-old I've ever seen.
Nope.
Jake Paul's gonna get murdered.
You think?
Yeah, I think he's gonna get murdered. Like murdered.
I hope not, for my sake, because I got a story.
No, then the Rolex will be worth more.
Well, probably be worth less.
I kid because I care.
Right. No, well, I mean,
then he becomes like some folk hero.
Right. I mean, he's imitating.
Oh, it's always worth more when they die, bro. It's always worth more when they die.
It was worth more than you. That's why I sell life insurance for a
right. Can you take a policy out on Jake Paul? Can you do that?
I don't think so.
Can you like anonymously take a policy out on someone, like a life insurance policy?
I don't.
If you're like that dude's gonna die. Like, are you like you have a friend who's just like, doing drugs and everything, like that dude's gonna die. And you're like, I'm gonna take out like $1 million on this guy. He's 26 years old, but can you do that?
I guess you could. It's kind of illegal, but
well, that's what I'm asking. Is it legal? You got to get them to sign off, I guess.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, but if they're out of their mind, I guess you could work that way.
You could just like troll the bars.
Yeah,
troll the bars. Look at all the lunatics. Ask how many of them are vaccinated and have boosters, and then you're like, oh, that's the guy. I can make money off of this
That's
dude.
the guy right there.
He's drunk. He's here every night.
Justin Blackman.
He's doing drugs. 17 boosters. Check. Like start checking off. Like that dude's gonna kill.
Yeah.
And you get the tax-free money, right?
Oh yeah, there you go.
I think I just created an industry.
I think you did. I think there's a new job there. Adrian Peterson, by the way, he's broke.
Is he really?
Yes.
How is he broke?
Uh,
Well, he has 1,000 children. That's probably why he's broke.
Well, not only that, but you get into bad financial deals. We know this locally with Warren Sapp and what was it, fried chicken, and you get into those deals, and that's what NFL athletes went through or still going through that.
Protect your unit, boys. Protect your unit. You got to protect your unit.
Yeah.
Make investments, but you got to put like a big chunk aside that's going to give you lifelong income, right?
Yes.
You can then play with the rest of it.
Save the money because you never know.
Don't touch the nut.
Yeah.
Don't touch the nut.
Don't. Yeah.
Protect your unit. Yeah.
Protect your unit. Don't touch the nut. See, you're coming up with all this stuff on a recorded day. Can you imagine if we were doing this live? We'd have all kinds of calls right now.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So did we hit the college football playoff enough? Did we get to that?
I think we did. Yeah. Did we drive Kirk Herbstreit bananas with the FSU talk? Because we need to do. Let's have that guy on the show. Let's have an all-star extravaganza. Stu for about 10 or 15 minutes, but he'll probably be off in 5, and then Herbstreit afterwards. How would that go?
I think people would lose their mind.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to hit the Lightning a little bit though, because Tanner expected to come back tonight against the Golden Knights. And obviously the addition of Duclair and Dumba have been tremendous in these 3 games since they've been here. I mean, you beat the Flyers 7-0, the Rangers 6-3, and then you go down to Sunrise and Vasi steals one 5-3. So you don't make any excuses for getting or apologies, I guess I should say, for getting outshot 38-5 in the last couple of periods. Not ideal, not what you want, but like you put 4 on the board early on and you held on to win the game, and Vasi was great. And I think that's great for Vasi to steal a game. That gets his confidence back, gets his swagger back. When you make 48 saves or 47 saves, that's what he needed.
Yeah.
He needed a game like that to kind of, remind him, you're the freaking, you're the big cat. Let's go. You need to carry this team into the playoffs and through the playoffs. This is your game. You're the best goalie in the world. You carry this team to 2 cups. It's time to, to saddle it up, strap it on. Let's go. It's your time, Vasi. Let's go. And be well rested as you enter the playoffs. Remember, they had that 15-day stretch where they only played 4 games.
Right.
So maybe now his body's recouped a little bit. He feels a little bit better. We'll see how they do on this 4-game trip out west, starting with Vegas tonight as we tape this. Last night, as you probably watch and listen. So I'm sorry we're not commenting on what happened last night, but we will on Thursday's show.
We're not psychic. We can't.
Did I reveal the reason why we're taping tonight?
You did not.
Well, I got to do some networking and research tomorrow morning.
Okay.
And I play tennis with Sal Pal. The only time he could play tennis was tomorrow. And so I said, okay, we'll tape the show Tuesday night so I can, play a little tennis. And, when I play with Sal Pal, I get all the scoop. And then I come back and give it to you guys.
There you go.
So it's called research and networking,
Yes.
So that's what we'll do tomorrow. And we'll get a lot of, he gives me a lot of stuff on a national level that I'm not privy to, because of course he covers all the different teams and all the different stuff, and get a really good feel for, what's going on around the league. So I have to do this stuff from time to time. I'm not going to say it's a sacrifice.
Well, it's a tough.
But I will probably absorb another ass whooping for you people, at the hands of South Powell.
Right, exactly. And I'd rather do that anyway. Instead, I got to go deal with Esther. And,
you don't want to do that. Yeah, that's your own choice.
All day long. No. All day long. Usually I get, a couple hours off here, but honestly, that's well worth it. So enjoy yourself. Enjoy the day off there with Sal Powell. He's awesome. Great conversations with him in the press box. And again, talk about a down-to-earth guy. He may cover national
He's the best.
He really is, and I'm curious to know what he thinks about all these Bucs moves in the offseason.
Well, did you not see Monday's show? He was on Monday, Peter, and he told us he said, and I'm quoting, the Bucs are the favorites in the NFC South for the next 2 to 3 years because they re-signed Baker Mayfield and Mike Evans.
Nice.
And I agree with him 100%. Until something presents otherwise. I think the Saints signed a bunch of guys that are over the hill and they paid too much for them. That's what the Saints are. They're an aging old team that thinks Chase Young, even though he's 26, 27. But he's, neck injury, knee injury, as we talked about. They signed Willie Gay, they signed Derek Carr. I mean, good for them. Good for them. I don't think they're any better than they were. They still got issues. And the Falcons, I think, are a talented team. And if Kirk Cousins stays healthy, they'll be a contender. I respect what they do. They've got weapons, but if the 36-year-old coming off an Achilles breaks down, you're back to Taylor Heineke. And you could have had Justin Fields with all those weapons. Again, if you're an offensive coordinator and you can't, and I heard, who was it? I think it was Ryan Clark talking about this and some other guys on Get Up, is if you can't come up with an offensive system with Justin Fields and his elite running talent, elite. Well, Sal Powell said this the other day too. Elite running talent, big arm, not necessarily the most accurate, but elite runner with Bijan Robinson, Tyler Algiers, Kyle Pitts, Drake London. I mean, and a good offensive line. If you can't score points with that group, that's on the coordinator. That's on the coordinator.
Yeah.
And you could have got Justin Fields as your backup for a 5th round pick. But they didn't want the appearance of a competition or the fans yelling for Justin Fields every, 5 seconds every time Kirk threw a pick. But you know what? If I'm paying a guy that much money and he's a veteran and he can't handle that as the starter, then I got the wrong guy. Yeah, I got the right. You don't not bring in talented players because you're worried about how another player is going to react to it. At least I wouldn't in an organization. If my guys are that mentally soft that they can't handle competition, then they're not my guys.
Thank you.
They're not my guys.
They're not. And
you think Baker Mayfield didn't want to come here because of Kyle Trask? I mean, I know it's a little bit different, but dude embraces competition. He went to Texas Tech and Oklahoma and walked on with 5 stars everywhere and said, "Watch, this is my job." He didn't care.
Nope.
So but good on the Falcons because I think they whiffed with that one.
Well, reportedly, 4 teams were interested in Justin Fields, and Ryan Poles did right by Fields. To me, he allowed the whole quarterback situation to fill those needs, and then basically traded him to the Steelers, where he had no chance to start. So I don't know how he did well, and I just don't get it. I don't get how a first-round quarterback goes from a first round to a guy that's 6 with all the talent that he. And I get it. People are saying it's a conditional 4th if he plays. You think the Steelers are going to allow Justin Fields to play 1 snap this year? If they have Russell Wilson and
it's if he plays like if he has to start like 6 games,
right?
For some ridiculous amount,
52%.
Yeah, 52%. Yeah,
ain't happening.
No, unless Russell gets hurt,
right?
And still, who cares? Even if it's a 4th, it's a steal. It's a
yes.
steal.
It's a first-round quarterback. He can move. He's only going to get better. And look, I don't think they put necessarily the best team around him. And I think that's where a lot of Bears fans are. You finally have a great offense, and you have a quarterback who is somewhat of a vet, learning a system, and you got everything in front of him. And instead of allowing him to see what he has with that offense, you don't even give him the opportunity to go with Caleb Williams, who we talked about it. Red flags all over the place.
It's a cowardly move by Ryan Poles.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to be the guy that didn't take Caleb Williams.
Bingo.
But you tell me, if you're the Bears, are you better off with 3 first-round picks, which you would trade for Caleb Williams, getting 3 first-round picks, sticking with Justin Fields, and with those 3 picks, one of them, you could draft a quarterback.
Yeah.
Probably one of the top 5 in this draft.
Michael Penix Jr., possibly, maybe a Drake.
J.J. McCarthy. Depending on who you trade with, you get 3 first-round picks for your first-round pick, so you get 2 extras. But with that first-round pick, you could take a quarterback and then still have 2 first-round picks and Justin Fields.
Yeah,
to build around, and you've got another. Don't they have another pick in the 9th pick too?
Yes, they do. Yeah,
so you could have. Load up on 4 or 5 picks and have Justin Fields and take a quarterback. Just because you think Caleb's the guy,
right?
There's a pretty good chance Jane Daniels is the guy.
Yes,
J.J. McCarthy, Michael Penix could be the guy.
Yes,
and you can have a quarterback to build. If Justin doesn't pan out, and you pick up, you could pick up Marvin Harrison Jr., Malik Neighbors, to pair with Justin Fields, pick up some offensive line help. I mean, you have so many picks, but now you put all your eggs in a Caleb Williams basket.
Unless they trade out of that pick.
No, why would they trade out of it now?
Well, it's the Chicago Bears. Who knows? I mean, it's a quarterback graveyard. They don't know what the hell they're doing. Of course, you got to draft Caleb Williams because you passed on Patrick Mahomes. But let's say there is a crazy team out there that offers you 3 first-round picks or 4 first-round picks. Are you going to turn it down? You still trade out of that spot. Well, Washington, you get a Drake May or you get a Jaden Daniels who, by the way, he may be the best quarterback in this draft that nobody's talking about. And he's also a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. Talk to Brian Kelly. He can command a room. When he walks into that building, he's going to command that building. I don't hear the same thing about Caleb Williams. I don't.
You don't. All right, we got to take one more break. When we come back, I'm going to give you some of the great tee times for the Valspar Championship coming up this weekend. Thursday and Friday tee times are out. So we'll preview that a bit for you when we come back here on the JP Peterson Show. Stay with us. Hey, it's a great time to buy a house and get a mortgage with American Mortgage Services. Okay, I got your attention now. But JP, rates are at 8%. That's true, but I spoke with our friend Scott Fitzgerald at AMS Tampa, and this is what smart people are doing. Rates peaked at 8% last month, but they've come down, and AMS recently locked some folks in the high 6s. Prices have also stabilized or dropped in some areas. So if you're going to eventually buy, now is the best time to get the house you want. Fitz will get you the best rate out there, shopping it around to dozens of lenders, and when rates come down in a year or so and the frenzy begins again, prices go bananas again, you will already have the pick of the litter. Then he will refinance you and keep costs at nearly 0 because that's what they do at AMS Tampa. You're back at 4% in the house you wanted while others fight the frenzy. Be smart. Stay one step ahead. Email Fitz at scott@amstampa.com, scott@amstampa.com, or call 813-294-7595. Scott Fitzgerald, NMLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida. All right, this is for all you guys who don't want to go to the gym and do 5,000 crunches. At Bay Area Modern Medical Center, you can get on the new True Body machine where you can reduce fat and tone up your muscle. It's like doing 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Define your body as you see fit. True Body offers personalized muscle stimulation that delivers the equivalent of those 54,000 crunches in just 15 minutes. Just get in touch with them at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Chris Lugo and the team over there will set you up on True Body and get amazing results. Non-invasive with comfortable and little to no pain and 0 downtime. You can isolate and target those areas that you want to improve and treat multiple areas simultaneously. It's an amazing machine, so check it out at Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. Everyone knows Italiano Insurance is your go-to for home insurance, but they also have an amazing team that focuses on business insurance. Yes, your business is most likely your biggest asset, so make sure you have the right coverage at the most competitive price. And if you started a side hustle recently, don't forget you need business insurance, because if you get sued in this over-litigious society we live in, you could lose all your personal wealth. So get that business insurance. And for the best customer service, always choose Italiano. My representative, Charity, is amazing. I called her late on a Friday because my insurance was going to lapse. She stayed late until the job was done. You just don't find that anymore. Give them a call, 813-877-7799. That's 813-877-7799. Italiano Insurance.
Let's go.
right now. Back to the show on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show here. Just got a couple minutes left. I wanted to give you some updates on the Valspar starting times for Thursday and Friday. So head on out there. It's going to be a really, really fun week. On Thursday, Nick Taylor, Keegan Bradley, and Jordan Spieth will go off at 1:34 off the first tee on Thursday. If you want to check out that group, Maverick McNeely will be at 2:07, along with Carson Young is in that group as well. Xander Schauffele, who almost won the Players, Taylor Moore, the defending champion, and Brian Harmon, defending Open champion, will go at 1:23. So that's a good time if you're going to get out there in the afternoon tomorrow off the first tee. So you got Harmon, Taylor Moore, and Xander Schauffele, followed by Nick Taylor, Keegan Bradley, and Jordan Spieth. So two groups there at 1:23 and 1:34 going off. Matt Kuchar will go off at 1:51 off number 10 tee. And he is with Brant Snedeker and Andrew Putnam. So that's a good group right there. Fun to watch. And then let me get to the other one here. By the way, don't forget Saturday is Cole Swindell. So your ticket will also be a ticket to the country concert after that.
Wow.
Saturday.
Yeah.
It's free concert. Yeah, get that Saturday ticket, baby. What else we got? There's a big group here here we go. At 8:13 a.m. if you get out there early tomorrow, going off number 10 tee, will be Sam Burns, Justin Thomas, and Sunjae Im. So a nice grouping right there going off in the morning. If you're going to be out there early in the morning, that's 8:13 off number 10. This is Thursday. Followed by 8:24, Sepp Straka, Tony Finau, and Cam Young. So that's another good one right there. Followed by Brandon Todd, Gary Woodland, former major champion, and Adam Schenk as well. So there's some good groups out there, some big names. Going to be a big weekend out at Valspar. So check that out. If you don't have your tickets, get out there and get them tickets. What else we got coming up this week?
Well, you got the start of eventually baseball, right? I mean, it's
that's right. They're over in Korea,
which is weird. It's so weird, and they're playing a couple games that mean something, and then the Dodgers, I believe, are going back out to play the Angels on the exhibition. I mean, this is the reason. Like, I understand why you're taking advantage of it, but it's so confusing for a baseball fan.
Mm-hmm.
Like. And it takes away from it also. Like, can we just start in Cincinnati? Like
we used to?
Right.
America's pastime. First game in Seoul, Korea. Okay.
Oh, yeah, there you go. That works. I mean,
well, they want to internationalize the game, right? A lot of players coming for Korea. Hard to do this in the middle of the season, so I get it. I guess before the season's the only way to do it. So away we go.
Yeah,
because you get to watch Tyler Glass now in a Dodgers uniform.
Who doesn't want to see that? Every Rays fan wants to see.
Hey, but we got Ryan Pepio and Johnny LaDuca.
Yeah, it's all about LaDuca.
That's not even what's his name. Did I screw that up?
Pepio.
How am I supposed to keep track of all these people? For God's sakes,
write it down because
I did write it down.
Every 2 years, you got to write it down.
You got to write down all of it, right? Johnny DeLuca, whatever.
Hard to swallow. It's hard to swallow what you had to say today.
Well, I hope the Rays have a great season. I really do hope they have a great season. We'll see. We'll see if some of these no names in their starting rotation will turn into something as they normally do.
Yeah,
I'm rooting for the team. I love the root for team. Can't wait for baseball to start and be able to watch Rays games every night. Hopefully, it's a fun offense. They're not too boring. Defensively, it might take a little bit of a step back. They don't have Josh Lowe to start the season, so we'll see.
That could be a big loss, but the Rays somehow, some way they will figure it out, and they may be the story of baseball at the All-Star break, and the owner will come out.
We'll see.
We didn't get a stadium deal, so we're about to take.
All right. We got to get out of here. We got to be under 2 hours or my producers get mad at me when we do these tape show. Have a great day, everybody. We will see you live on Thursday and Friday.